If anyone ever comes poking around, looking for the treasure, he told me to pull them apart.
What is up, Knights of X? Today we have to talk about the brand new Conquest character, SM-33, who I am extremely excited for to come to the game. If you guys haven't seen Skeleton Crew, it's actually a really fun show. It's more meant for like little kids, but I had a great time watching it, and SM-33 actually was my favorite character in the show. He had a great sense of humor and this really cool aura, and I actually loved his voice. So, really cool character, and he's coming to the game as a new Conquest character, and he's representing a brand new faction that doesn't have much love yet, but will after our current era, after the Revenge of the Sith era, focusing on the pirate faction, which is really cool. But for today, we're going to talk about how we're going to be able to unlock this awesome character as free to play as possible. I have a bunch of infographics that I have created for you guys, and they're all going to be available in my Discord. I might make a post on Reddit as well so that a majority of the community can go see it. But for now, I want to break down exactly what the infographics represent because they're a little bit different than last time. I added a bunch of different colors to show where you can bounce back and forth into certain feats, because sometimes you're going to get 3 in one team, and that's why the colors are important to show you which feats you're getting with each team. So we're going to break it down for you guys, but if you do want to see these infographics for your guild and spread them out, join my Discord. That's going to be in the link of the video description down below. Or yeah, and come hang out. Very fun group of Discord, so I'd love to have you guys in there. But always reminding you as well, if you do enjoy my content, you want to support me further, like the video to mount that algorithm, and subscribe if you're not already. That is the best way to support me, guys, and it really means a lot. So with that out of the way, let's get into the Conquest guide, starting with Sector 1. To start out the Conquest, we got to talk about Sector 1. But before I get into it, I just want to show you that this is the infographic. But I want to show my webcam on this so you guys can see what I'm talking about and give you like just a visual of what I'm saying. But if you move it over, it includes the character for the Conquest. And these are all, like I said, available in my Discord if you want to go ahead and check it. But for the video, I'm just going to include my webcam here because you can see all the teams. So starting with the Sector 1 feats, there is Evasion up 50 times, defeat 50 enemies with clone troopers, gain secret intel 60 times, which is a specific buff to BB-8, and win 20 battles with a full squad of Spectre, which is crazy, crazy steep. Then, for the remainder of all the slides on the right side, you're going to see that these are all the global feats, and I include 2 different options for both feats. So I want to show you one team and then another team. One might lean towards, late game, one might be towards like early to mid game. So on the right side, we have global feats, which is win 20 battles with a full squad of Bad Batch, very doable. Attempt to stagger 80 times, very doable. Attempt to inflict 30 damage over time effects on enemies with an ability, extremely doable. Win 20 battles with a full squad of light side unaligned force users, manageable. Maybe not for the very early game because you don't have unaligned force users, but still very, very easy. And then the last global feat, before you get into the ones where you require certain data discs from these specific ones, is going to be attempt to inflict critical damage down 80 times. We've had this in the previous Conquest, really not that bad if you get the strategy down. But to get into the colors, so you're going to see that yellow is going to be the primary color I use for the squad template, has no meaning to it. But the every other color shows you that they are representing multiple different feats. So it's going to be representing possibly multiple sector feats, but also a global feat. For example, gain evasion 50 up 50 times is representing Bad Batch. For the Bad Batch, Echo has an AoE evasion up ability on his second special, which grants your entire team evasion up. And on a basic, he's granting evasion up. So this is going to tie into winning with 20 battles with your Bad Batch units. So that's where you're going to get that there. Then below that, defeat 50 enemies with a clone trooper unit. It also ties into there. So you're getting 3 feats with 1 team in that sector, which is really beneficial. So that's what the colors represent. On the right side, you're going to see the new Bad Batch team in red. They're going to be helping you get your stagger as well as your Bad Batch kills. So Wrecker on his AoE has a AoE stagger, so you're going to be able to build it up that way. So that is where you're tying in those colors. And then for the green on the right side, the stagger and the damage over times, as well as the critical damage down on the right, is 3 global feats with 1 team. Practically, you're getting stagger from Morrow Jade's AoE, you're getting from Scout's second special and also from Bastila second special. The damage over times come from Darth Vader. If you guys don't have Lord Vader, Darth Vader has a great time of landing damage over times with an ability. And then the critical damage down as well comes from Bastila Fallen's second special. So you're getting 3 feats into 1. So that's pretty much what the colors are representing on this graphic. But if you guys don't have the new Bad Batch or anything like that, you could still pull it off with OG clone troopers like that, as well as, you know, the evasion up, very accessible with CLS, very easy. With the evasion up, you're getting it on Han's second special, so you can get that done in almost one battle, especially if you face a Grievous team. It's really simple. So those are the top 2 sector feats for the Sector 1. Very simple. Secret Intel, like I said earlier, is very specific to BB-8. You pretty much want to slot him into a Rey team if you have Rey, and stall the battle out as much as you can. Don't do any of your big abilities. Try to stall it. Let your BB-8 stack that Secret Intel across your whole team, and you're going to get it done in like 1 or 2 battles. If you don't have Rey, you can easily pull this off with any Resistance leader. For now, I just put Resistance Hero Finn. With the 2 heroes and Zori, you slot in BB-8, totally fine. And even you can even throw in a droid team if you don't have the Resistance up and running. You can use Shorty with a bunch of different droids like T3, M4 or something, or L3. So those are pretty straightforward. Now the ones below, to win 20 battles with a full squad of Spectre is kind of steep. And Spectre are a very new faction, and it's really hard to get at the moment. They're Chirotech heavy, and they're not as good without Ezra, who's a very brand new Conquest character. Not a majority of the community has him. So this one is going to be kind of tough for newer players. You can either use your GL Ahsoka or use your Hera lead and try to get your Fulcrum or some of the other characters to kind of carry you through those battles. But there's not a lot of, not much you can do with it. It's very exclusive to that faction. So that is going to wrap up Sector 1. Very simple, not that difficult. We're now going to move on to Sector 2. Sector 2, very similar. A lot of cross feats that are going to be done with one team. Starting with the first feat, that's going to be gain health steal up 60 times. And what I did is I kept the same exact team as I used from the previous one. That ties into actually 4 different feats. So Emperor Palpatine on his second special applies health steal up. So you can be constantly using that ability. And then throughout the Conquest, you got to land your damage over times, your critical damage down, and your staggers. You're going to get that all done with this team. So you're getting 4 feats into 1. So I just want to keep that in mind. Health steal up is on Emperor Palpatine's second special. Mara Jade for the stagger, Scout for the stagger, Bastila Fallen for the stagger, critical damage down, as well as the, yeah, that's pretty much everything there. Stagger, critical damage down. And then you have below that, you can also stack 2 feats into 1, which is the light side unaligned force users. So for that, I used a Seer, Cal, Fulcrum, CLS, and Visas team. I thought the best option I can do here is to try to split up 2 very powerful underlined force users teams. So I kept it where I have my Rey, Ben, Stick Rey, Cat, and Jedi Training Rey. And then I have my other light side underlined force user team where you can kind of stack both of those back and forth. Creates 2 powerful teams. So for here, you can use your health steal up with Visas. She has it on her middle ability where she's going to grant an AoE health steal up, which is extremely helpful. So you're getting 2 feats with 1. Then we're going to move on and do the dark side clones. So very hard. Not many players are going to have this faction maxed out. So if you guys have them maxed out, going to be really well with Lord Vader. They don't need to survive, so keep that in mind. You can have a very low gear clone team and still pull this off. But I decided to use Darth Vader in the team because you're going to be stacking your damage over time very easily with Lord Vader and Darth Vader going back and forth. Darth Vader can pop off with the dots very, very easily. So if you have a full clone team, that is the one I'm going to be recommending. Lord Vader, Darth Vader with Apo, CX2, and Disguise Clone Trooper. And that's going to help you tie into your damage over times on the right. If you guys don't have a very high... you don't have Lord Vader, and you have clones, and you want to get this done, I recommend using a Rex lead with Apo, CX2, Disguise Clone Trooper, and Malik. If you can get a voluntary Vanguard, your Malik is going to tank all the hits. If he gets crit, that's going to generate turn meter for your team. You're going to be able to get a turn meter train going. And even if they go down, your Rex should be able to annihilate the entire team. So that's going to be very helpful for early to newer game players. Sometimes mid-game if you don't have Lord Vader. so I threw that in there. Then the stealth. So the stealth is easily done with Darth Maul, Lead, Zeta. I got this done in like 1 or 2 battles when this was in a previous conquest, so that's a no-brainer. But on the bottom, I included the Bad Batch team, the new one, because if you guys do have them, they're in stealth like the entire battle. So this is going to be 3 feats into 1. You're going to get your stealth, your stagger, and your Bad Batch units wins 3 in 1 if you guys do have the team. So I wanted to include it here. And then on the bottom, it's just win 20 battles without losing any units. That could be any team. Ideally, it's going to be any of the teams we list here. You don't want to have to, go into battle and lose a squad or lose a character because that's going to be lower stars. So you guys can easily pull this off if you have the right data disk and the right teams. Make sure you manage your stamina and you will not lose any characters. So that is going to be Sector 2, showing you the synergy there. Nothing crazy. Let's get on to Sector 3. Sector 3, not that bad at all. The first one we got to talk about is getting defense up 60 times. And this one, no joke, can be done in a single battle. I don't care what gear level your Clone Wars Chewbacca is. All it requires is one battle with a bunch of tanks. They're going to get hit. They're going to gain defense up. Boom, done, easy. Even if you lose the battle, it's not a big deal. Getting the feat done in one battle is massive. So I highly recommend using any variation of tanks. I think even with this team that I represented here, you can still even get a win if Malik can go crazy. So that's an easy one battle done. If you guys don't feel like doing it that strategy, you want to stack it up with the other feats. I threw in a Lord Vader team with Royal Guard because Royal Guard applies an AoE defense up. So if you wanted to do it that way, that works with 2 other feats, which is win with 15 battles with Darth Vader surviving, as well as the damage over time. So again, you're stacking up the buffs. Here I included Sidious, because Sidious also does damage over times. Makes it a little bit easier. But Darth Vader surviving is not that bad. It's the same thing stacking with the other feat that I was showing you in previous sectors. Same thing. Emperor Palpatine, Mara Jade Scout, Bastila Shan Fallen, Darth Vader. Getting multiple feats into one. Want to stack that up as best as you can. Very easy. Then this one. This one's kind of going to be difficult if you don't have the new Bad Batch, because Omega, OG Omega, is not going to get a lot in one battle. It's going to be very difficult. So this one's going to be very hard to get if you don't have any gear or investment towards the new Bad Batch. But I decided to include both of them because they both can get target practice. Just the newer one are going to be able to stack it up way, way easier. So I have the synergy here. You're getting 2 feats into 1 and 3 feats with 1 with the new Bad Batch. So that is represented there. And on the bottom one, this one's kind of cool. I highly recommend getting your critical damage one done in Sector 3, because with this one, you need to attempt teams that don't have any attackers in it. So a Dash-led Scoundrel team, Smuggler team is going to be your best option for this because they don't have attackers. So you have your Dash, L3, Vandor, Quill, and IG-11. They're not attackers. You're going to be able to get your critical damage down with the Dash lead and your no attackers with that exact comp. So this is a great way to stack that global feat. I'm highly recommending you doing it in Sector 3. Extremely helpful. If you're running low on stamina and you want to get more battles done with no attackers, Jabba is going to be your best bet. The team is still absolutely fine without attackers. Obviously, Leia, it makes it broken. But Jabba with Chrysanthemum, Cad Bane, Gamorrean Guard, and Mob Enforcer can still pull off a lot of wins. I've done it before in previous conquests. Whenever there's a feat where it says, win a battle without using any attackers, I always go to Jabba, and I can get it done very, very easily. So that's the synergy there. Very good. I highly recommend, like I said, critical damage down for Sector 3. But this one is pretty straightforward. Shouldn't be that difficult, guys. So let's move on to Sector 4. Moving on to Sector 4, this is not a terrible sector. All of these are very manageable. Starting out with the first feat, it's attempt to inflict tenacity down 50 times. Here, I decided to throw in Gungans because they have great synergy with the bottom feat, which is gain a bonus turn 50 times. Gungans can ramp that out extremely quickly. So if you guys didn't know, Phalanx, which is the tank, has an AoE tenacity down ability. So you're going to be stacking 2 feats with 1. You're going to be gaining, actually 3 feats. 3 feats. You're going to get the Death Mark one as well. So this sector was purely made for Gungans, in my opinion. You're going to get your tenacity down from the tank. Jar Jar on a basic is going to attempt to inflict that Death Mark. There's some RNG to it, but it's still possible. You're going to stack way more Death Marks with a Gungan team than a Darth Revan team. So I included the Gungans for the first, second, and third and fourth feat. You get your tenacity down, your death mark, and your bonus turn. So those are all extremely helpful. And then for the second tenacity down team, I decided to include the second variation of the underlined force users, which is going to stack with your global feat. Cal on his AoE applies a tenacity down on all enemies, so that's extremely helpful. Stacking 2 feats into 1, not bad at all. For the second Deathmark team, I'm including Dark Trooper Moff Gideon with Death Trooper because you're more than likely to get more Death Marks with Death Trooper than you are with a Darth Revan team. If you go in with Darth Revan, you're only applying Death Mark 1 time in the battle, and if you do that, you're going to have to do 10 separate battles with Darth Revan, and that's just not efficient in my opinion. If you go into a battle with Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, you have the potential of getting 4 Death Marks into 1 battle if everything works out correctly. So that's way more efficient in my opinion. That's why I included them instead of Darth Revan. Third feat is win 10 battles with Batcher surviving. So the obvious one is just to use the new Bad Batch team that stacks with 3 different feats into 1. So if you guys have that, you're doing really well. If you don't, and you have a Gear 1 Level 1 Batcher, no need to worry. Darth Maul with Canderous, Watt, and Jango have the potential to absolutely outrun any team in Conquest, even at low stamina. And if you have the right data disc, they absolutely melt. So don't worry if you don't have a very high or high gear or relic or star count Batcher. You're going to be fine. I highly recommend using the Maul variant. It makes it extremely easy. Then for the second bonus turn, it's going to be, there should be a color coordinated thing for here. It's the same exact team. They should have a color thing, but you can stack your bonus turn with Maul and Batcher as well, because Maul gains a bunch of bonus turns. Wat Tambor gains a bonus turn. So you're going to be stacking both up at the same time. So that should have a color coordinated. I'll fix it for the infographic in my Discord. But yeah, you're stacking multiple feats into 1. And then the global feats are relatively the same. I put Bam and Dengar in there instead of IG-11 and Quill, just because Bam is very helpful with that damage immunity. Might make the battles a little bit easier. But that's going to wrap up Sector 4, guys. Let's now get into the Sector 5 and see what we did. Sector 5, the last sector, and this one is really not that bad. Very manageable if you guys have certain comps. Don't need all the new Bad Batch. You're going to be fine. But the first one is going to be attempt to inflict evasion down 60 times. The go-to for this in any Conquest, in my opinion, is always CLS, because Chupio is constantly applying evasion down on a basic. If you find a General Grievous with a Droideka, you can get this done in a single battle. Even sometimes a crew node, if you attack crew, this can be done in a single battle. So not that hard. This is a gimme. A lot of the community should have CLS in this team up and running. So absolutely love it. Same thing with the previous sector. Stacking up this with the global light side underlined force user team. Cal Kestis on his second special also applies evasion down on the enemy team. So if you want to go back and forth and you're running low on your light side underlined force user team kills, that's the squad you want to go for with Cal. If you're running low on stamina, you can combine it with Rey. I just wanted to show you that you don't need a Galactic Legend to pull these off. Trying to go with the least amount of least amount of expensive teams as possible, in my opinion. Which leaves to the second feat, which is going to be inflict marked 25 times. And the first one I'm going to include has to be the new Bad Batch, because they are very good at inflicting it. I'm pretty sure Batcher does, and Hunter also inflicts mark, which you're going to get way more often than any other team. So that's very possible. 3 feats into 1, have to include it. The second one I'm including is a kind of more expensive team, but you have the potential to stack 3 feats into 1. So I had to include Vader, Lord Vader, Darth Vader, Piet, Apo, and CX2. Piet has a marked ability on him, so you can put marked on Lord Vader. You can stack up a couple of times in the battle. Great way to stack with your other one, which is going to be inflict Order 66 10 times. You stack it there, and also win 14 battles with a full squad of Empire. That is technically 4 feats into 1 battle because of the global and the 3 sector feats. So I had to include it. If you guys don't have either of these squads, use a regular Lord Vader team, and you can throw in Royal Guard or Thrawn as a 5th. Not that hard. So that's why I had to include it. Also, another team that has marked Jedi Knight Revan. It's just going to take a lot longer because it's a high cooldown. It's going to take some time, but it's still possible. So let's go on to the other feat with the less expensive team, which is going to be a Rex-led team with Apo and CX2. Apo and CX2 can both apply Order 66. they can still do it not under a Lord Vader lead. So I'm recommending a Rex lead because Rex has a way of generating a ton of turn meter. So you could probably get this done with an extremely low gear. You're probably going to need Voluntary Vanguard. Maybe you can throw in a Malik as well, help generate even more turn meter. But as long as your CX2 hits the same target 3 times, he's going to be applying Order 66. You can probably get this done in one battle with the correct team. Maybe a crew node. We just have to find the right strategy. But that is what I'm going to be recommending for the second Order 66 team. And then the last squad is going to be obviously the brand new Lord Vader team. But the other one is going to be Emperor Palpatine, Mara Jade, Scout, Thrawn, and Darth Vader. Because this is also going to be stacking with the other feat. It should have a purple color. So that is going to match with the other global. But not that bad at all, guys. This is very, very manageable as a conquest. I hope this helps you. I'm now going to throw in an extra slide where I talk about what feats you can skip. Not for endgame. That's not necessarily for endgame because a lot of these endgame players are going to have these teams. But if you don't have all the new legendaries, you don't have all the new GLs, you can still pull it off. So I'm going to show you what feats I recommend that you skip and still pull it off. So let's get to it. So the last thing we're going to talk about is what feats to skip if you still want to get Red Crate. And in my opinion, if you're an early to mid game player and you really want to get this character, you don't have to worry. You can still pull it off if you skip these feats, which I think are the most difficult for a early to mid game player. That's going to be Sector 1, win 20 battles with a full squad of Spectre. Like I said earlier in the video, very new team, new faction, extremely expensive. Not a lot of players have the new GL Ahsoka Tano. This is going to take a lot of effort, and it's not worth the return of investment for the Conquest. It's only 5 key cards, so I recommend you skip Sector 1, win 20 battles, full squad of Spectres. The second one I'm going to recommend that you skip is defeat an enemy with Darkside Ray in Sector 2. Not that this is very hard to do, just because she's a brand new Conquest character, and not many players have Darkside Ray, so you can still pull it off without her. The third one I'm going to recommend you skip is Sector 3. Gain target practice 400 times. That is just an absurd amount of target practice, and it's really dependent on the new Bad Batch team. So you guys can still pull this conquest off without that, so just keep that in mind. Sector 4, same exact thing. Jocasta Nu is the most brand new conquest character. Not many players are going to have her, so it is skippable. The second one in Sector 4 is win with Darth Vader and Lord Vader surviving. If you guys have Lord Vader around and unlocked in your account, this one's a breeze. But if you don't have Lord Vader unlocked, no need to worry. You can still pull out the Conquest. And then the last two for Sector 5 are going to be the ones that include the brand new Galactic Legend and one of the most brand new epic confrontations, Ahsoka and Baylan Skoll. You can still pull this Conquest off without those characters unlocked, which equals 33 key cards, which means you are going to get Red Crate and get your SM-33 day 1. So guys, that is going to wrap up this Conquest guide. I really hope this helps you and helps the community. You have no idea how long this took me, so I would really appreciate if you guys leave a like, share it out to the community, and also subscribe to the channel so it shows that you guys appreciate my content. So that is going to wrap it up. I do appreciate it. Please leave all your feedback in the comment section down below. And for the last time, join my Discord. Great community. Have an awesome chat about Grand Arena, and find these infographics in the infographic section. So guys, that's going to wrap it up. Please leave a like, subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. May the Force be with you all.